This is 7:30 Tea with Ree.
So I'm like, oh my god, I'm literally stranded in a flooding canal.
He's like, oh, I hope you don't mind. I invited my friends.
When he pulls up to pick me up, he's in a weird-looking van.
Ree is spilling all the tea. Hello, everybody, and welcome to 7:30 Tea with Ree. If you are new here, I'm very happy that you're here. Today, by the time this airs, it is going to be October 3rd, which is Mean Girls Day, which I love Mean Girls Day. Like, I'm going to get to literally watch Mean Girls on repeat all day because it's going to be on all of the channels. It's going to be on MTV and, you know, whatever other channels it streams on. Probably HBO, something like that. But I'm just excited. I literally love that movie. I could quote the entire thing, like I honestly can. Also, if you can hear a lot of the sounds today, like, you know, everything that's around me, and it sounds super busy, I'm actually recording this outside today because I really love how the weather feels. So I was like, why don't we do a little backyard session? So I'm doing it in my backyard, and yeah, I just feel like it made sense. Fall season's approaching, the wind feels nice, it's like 60 degrees out today, so what better, right? And speaking of fall season, I've been really trying to find like a good new fall book to read, because I don't read that much. I feel like, I don't know, I have like selective moments, like every single time fall season comes around, I want to get into a brand new book and read. So I like want to do it, but I want like a cutesy themed one. Like, I like to read romance stuff, you know, like I just think that stuff's cute, but I want like a fall themed romance. Like, I want Twilight vibes, but also not super dark, like not vampire stuff, but just like, I don't know, like rom-com shit. I really have been looking for like a friends to lovers type of romance. Like, I don't know, there's something cute about that. It gives me Wattpad vibes. I don't know if I should hop back on Wattpad or what, but like, I'm looking for a good friends to lovers romance. So if anybody knows any, can you just send it to me? Because I really will sit there and look at all of the options and actually kind of weed it out. I actually want to sit there and do it and actually read the book, because I can never get through a book sometimes. I feel like I have to be really, really intrigued for it to be actually keeping me engaged. I don't know. I feel like with Wattpad it was easier because it was like we all just wrote down like our weirdest, like wildest fantasies, but we were all like, it was so relatable. Like, we all wanted the same shit. So like, I want to read something that's crazy like that, something that spills my wildest fantasies, not just like the basic average book. I don't know how to explain it best, but that's the best I can explain it. Also, guys, I'm drinking tea today. It's not at 7:30, but I am drinking tea. I made it and everything. It's in the 7:30 Tea with Ree mug. If you've seen it in my little trailer videos that I put out every week before the episode airs, I'm literally drinking out of that one. And it's just so cute. It just feels like a nice day. Just with my little tea mug in my backyard, with my laptop and my equipment. I just feel good. But I'm excited to get into today's episode. Since it's like Mean Girls Day and stuff, I have one Mean Girls themed story. And then the rest of the stories are just going to be, you know, tea, some drama. But the first one that's a Mean Girls themed story is actually going to be my story. But before I even get into my story, I'm just going to tell you guys what this podcast is about, if anybody's new here. So this podcast is all about spilling tea and sharing your deepest, darkest secrets. So if you have any tea to spill, DM me on Instagram at 730Tea with Ree, and you spell that 730 TEAWITHRIE. Or you can DM me on my main Instagram account at Rihanna Flores, and you spell that RIEANNAFLORES. And if you wish to be anonymous, please let me know. Your story should be up to 500 words or less, and if you want to send an audio voice message instead of typing out your story, just please keep it up to 5 minutes max. You could either, you know, send that voice audio message through DM, or you can send it on Snapchat, or you could send it on text, or you could email it. Honestly, just DM me, let me know what you want to do, and we'll usually figure it out. But anyways, we're going to get into our first story of today, which it's called She Stole My Crush. And like I said, this is going to be my story. So this actually happened to me in high school. So when I was in high school, I had a really huge crush on this guy. And I refuse to give you guys his name because he would definitely think I'm crazy. Like, I'm definitely not going to give you guys his name. I'm not going to do myself like that. But we're just going to call him Nate. That's what we're going to call him. That way it's easier for you guys to follow. So we're going to call him Nate. So Nate. For visuals, like, so you guys can, envision everything. He was tall, like, kind of skinny, some kind of Filipino white guy mix, dark hair, green eyes, hair perfectly coiffed up, like, this man looked perfect. And then on top of it, like, he wore glasses. But, like, when guys look hot wearing glasses? Like, that was the Tumblr vibe for a minute? He was like that. He was just, like, such a cute looking guy. And then he also played drums and stuff. Like, this guy was the whole package in high school. Are you kidding me? But, yeah. Anyways, this man also had, like, every girl's attention. Like, every girl had a crush on him. But I had the hugest crush, or whatever, on Nate. And so did my best friend, which we'll call her Tammy. So Tammy and I were friends with this girl named, we'll call her Sarah. So Tammy, Sarah, and I used to hang out at school all the time and, like, chit-chat every morning, like, before classes would start. So Tammy and I both knew that we had a crush on Nate, but we were always civil about it. Like, we really didn't care that much. Like, as besties should be. Like, we were always still gonna be happy for one or the other if we ended up with him. But, we'd talk about it, but low-key be like, I want him. But, like, still, either way, we were very civil about it. We were very good. So this girl, Sarah, would try to find ways to set me or Tammy up with Nate. And whoever he'd end up with, like I said, we'd still be happy for each other. Now, we were all friendly with Nate. Like, all of us were friends with him. We all had a class with him at some point. For me, like, I used to go to his locker every morning. We were also on, like, the sailing team together, Nate and I. So, like, we kind of knew each other. I think I wasn't on the sailing team, like, that first semester, because the time frame I'm talking about was, like, fall season, when, like, school just began or whatever. So around that fall season, I wasn't on the team just yet, but my sister was, right? So still, I knew him and stuff like that through my sister. So we would talk, I'd meet up at his locker in the mornings, and we were friends. And then him and Tammy, they had a class together, and he sat behind her. And then him and Sarah also had, like, a class together, and I think, like, maybe another class. I don't know what. But point is, we were all friends with Nate, all of us. And so one day, like, Sarah comes up to Tammy and I saying that she got Nate's number in class or whatever. Because she was actually, like, I guess a little bit of, like, better friends with him. I don't know, like, they talked more. But anyways, she, like, got his number, and she's telling us all about how she's going to talk us up to him and how there's no way that he wouldn't think that we're a catch and that he'd definitely be into either of us. So, like, literally, she says all this shit, and then the next day, after she says all this shit, she began texting him, and she comes into school and tells us, oh, hey guys, so Nate and I are actually really into each other, and he told me he likes me, so we're gonna date. Girl, I was so fucking mad. I was so livid. Tammy and I were confused as hell. Like, we were pissed. And we tried to, like, be happy for her, But, like, also, the girl was shady. Like, she was a snake. Like, how are you gonna act like you're gonna be such a good friend and talk us up? And, like, not at least tell us that you had a crush on him, too. So I was just like, come on. Why would you just not let us know this information? Because the thing is, if she at least told us, like, I don't think I would have cared as much, but it's just the fact that you kept it from us and then did it. Like, you tried to make it seem like you were gonna have our backs and all this stuff, and you backstabbed us. Like, that's crazy. But the way, Tammy and I handled it, we were basically just like, oh my god, good for you. Like, go ahead and date that man. Like, whatever. But you know what? Karma's a bitch. Karma's a bitch because Sarah got blindsided so good. And, I'm not saying she deserved it. But like I said, karma's a bitch because this man ended up cheating on her. He ended up cheating on her. And she was pretty upset. We were semi there for her. But low key we were like, oh, that's interesting that happened. In a shady way. But like I said, karma's a bitch. It comes back. That's what happens when you are a not so good friend and kind of mean and shady. So, yeah. Now, the lesson to take away from all of this is be a good ass friend and don't lie about shit. I don't know. There's just no point in lying to someone, like, unless it's for a positive outcome. Like, I'm sure we've all embellished a little bit to maybe, like, hype someone up when they're not feeling great about themselves or make them feel better, Like, that's the only time where I think it's actually, like, okay to do. Like, if someone's feeling pretty shitty about something or down on themselves, and, like, I don't know, like, maybe if they have, like, a slight reason to, but you still want to just hype them up to kind of, like, boost their mood, like, that's the only time I think lying makes sense, where it's, like, acceptable. But for shit like this, where you just keep lying for no reason, only to know you're still going to end up hurting someone, it's just reckless behavior. It's giving not smart. Just my personal opinion, though. But as for Tammy and I, that girl and I, we are still best friends to this day. And you know why? Because that bitch never ever lied to me. Point is, stop lying to your friends. They're gonna find out anyways. And just know that karma really does come back in one way or another, so you might as well just do the right thing at the right time. You get what I'm saying? But, yeah. Anyways, it's time for our next story of the day. So this one is called He Had a Girlfriend the Whole Time. And this one was actually an audio message sent in from one of my followers. So I'm going to play that.
Back in 2021, I want to say, or even it could have been 2020, summer of the pandemic, I was on Bumble. This is back before I'm with my boyfriend now. I was on Bumble and I met this guy. His name's Tyler. And he looks familiar, but I was like, okay, whatever. Maybe he just looks familiar. Like, it's Connecticut. People look the same. I don't know. We started talking that night after I was done filming a wedding. He invited me out with some of him and his friends. We hadn't met. This would be the first time we were meeting. And I was like, no, I don't know how I feel about this. So I'm really tired. Thanks for the invite, but I'm going to head home. We transitioned to texting. We texted back and forth. He was like the perfect guy, like too perfect looking back on it now, but he was like the perfect man. So we go on our first date and it was awesome. I had to take a phone call during it. I got a job offer, whatever. I got back to the table. He was like, oh, like I thought you were leaving, haha, like I thought you hated it. And I was like, no, like I'm having such a great time. We went on so many dates. Obviously we hooked up. It was going really well. Like I thought he was gonna ask me to be his girlfriend. Like I at one point confronted him and I was like, hey, like where's this going? We've been talking for a couple months now. Like it's around Christmas time. Like what's the dealio? And yeah, he was like, yeah, like pretty soon. And I was like, oh, okay, awesome. So I go home. He was supposed to come home and come have dinner with like me and my family back in Jersey. He was all gung-ho about it, and then all of a sudden he was like, oh, like so sorry, like something came up with my grandma. And I believed it because I know his grandma can be like, she was sick. I just remember she was really sick. I think now she's passed away, so R.I.P. But not the point of the story. Anyway, fast forward to the new year. I had some friends staying over the apartment, like my friend group at the time. And he was like, okay, yeah, like I'll come over. I want to meet everyone. He comes over, he meets everyone. Everyone loves him. He was late. Long story short, he was late. And I was going to pick up dinner with one of my friend's partners. And I was like, oh, like you can come with us or you can stay. He was like, no, I want to stay and talk with everyone. I was like, oh, okay. And everyone was like, oh, okay. So yeah, and it took like half an hour. This wasn't like a 5-minute trip. We were going to like the downtown, that like Chipotle next to the harbor. So we got that, we came back and he was still there. He was chit-chatting away. Like he was having the time of his life. He left, we said goodbye. and I think that was the last time I saw him, or like I was gonna see him. I don't know, whatever. I don't think I ended up seeing him after that. I think maybe briefly, but then come Valentine's Day, we were supposed to do something on Valentine's Day, and then I ended up not hearing from him the entire day. I didn't hear from him the entire fucking day. And then I see a post of this girl we went to school with. She went to Sacred Heart. Guess what? The girl he told me he was no longer dating, they were actually still dating, going on 3 fucking years of her being his boy, like them being together, whatever. I was irate. I texted him, and I was like, wow, okay, like, so this is, like, who you are, like, you're a fucking liar, you're this, that, whatever, blah, blah, blah. And a girl I was friends with at the time was in the same sorority as her. I was like, give it a day or two. I want to wait to see if he responds. He never responded. She reached out to her. She didn't fucking answer. And I was like, I'm going to reach out to this girl because that is not who I am. If I had known they were together, I would have never, ever considered going on a date with him. And yeah, I messaged her and she was like, well, this is a lot and I'm not surprised. He did this in his last relationship too. So like, don't feel bad. It's not you. And I was like, of course it's not me, bitch. Like, I'm not the one whose boyfriend's fucking cheating. Whatever. She's like, I have a lot to think about. Long story short, they're still together to this day. To this day, they're still together. He cheated on her with me multiple times. And listen, I would never, you know me, I would have never went on a date with this man if I knew he was in a relationship. So, okay, in short, we met on Bumble. We went on dates. We hooked up. He had a girlfriend the entire time. I had no idea. And they're still together to this day. And I constantly see stuff she posts just because, like, I want to keep tabs. Like, I want to know when she's going to dump his ass. Because I think she's waiting for him to put a ring on it. And I don't ever think he's going to put a ring on it.
Oh my god. That's literally so fucking crazy. I can't even imagine. I mean, actually, I kind of can. Because, I mean, not that this has happened to me before, but this has happened to, like, friends of mine where, like, the guy ended up low-key having a girlfriend. So that's really, it's still crazy. It's still crazy. I don't understand how you have the time to manage both. Because a relationship is already enough. And then, like, if you work or you go to school combined with a relationship, like, that's a lot. So then imagine consistently going on dates with someone else at the same time. How do people have the time? That's a lot of juggling. Like, I couldn't handle that. I don't understand how cheaters manage to cheat and how they make the time for it. Like, couldn't you at least put that kind of effort into something else that's going to be more valuable at least? Like, because when you think about it, I mean, you're going to get caught most of the time anyway, so what's the... You got what I'm saying? That's crazy, though. 3 years. They're together for 3 years. Oh my god. I wonder how long he had been doing that too. Like I'm saying, like, I wonder if it's just you that he did that with, because she said that he did that in his last relationship too. So it seems like it's very much an ongoing occurrence. So I wonder if you were the only person, or I feel like he probably had to been doing that with other girls too. Because it seems like he's all willy-nilly just doing whatever he wants. Also, it's extremely fucked up that he met all of your friends and then, like, almost met your family and went on so many dates with you. Like, it's crazy. I think the craziest part about this, too, is, like, when you know, have to introduce yourself while keeping a secret, in a way, you almost have to have a rehearsed script so that you don't fuck up your own lie. So, like... That's why I'm saying he definitely had to have done this more than once, where he's so used to a rehearsed script of what to go by, of what to say when he meets new friends and family. If he's going out with new girls while he's with a girlfriend. Do you get what I'm saying? Like, there's no way that he's not doing this with so many different girls. Because it sounds like he's really used to sticking to the same script, because if he had any slight discomfort, then he wouldn't have had the audacity to meet all of your friends and almost your family. That means he feels really comfortable doing what he's doing. What I want to know too, though, because I don't think it was really mentioned too much in your call, but like I was really wondering, like, if you got clarity from him. Like, did you guys ever talk after that? Did he message you or anything? Because you said that he basically deaded you on Valentine's Day when you guys were supposed to get together. And I'm assuming you probably, reached out. Like, did he say anything or anything like that? Also, the girlfriend. Why is she still with him? What is she doing? No, actually, though, like, I don't understand it. So it actually makes me annoyed for her because she literally is still with him. And she decided to be with him knowing what he did in his last relationship. She decided to stay with this man and be like, you know what? It doesn't matter what you did in the past. I'm going to just stay with you. That's wild. Like, don't get me wrong. Like, there's definitely, I've seen relationship dynamics where, like, the guy has had a past of, like, oh, they cheated once, and maybe the relationship actually ended up pretty good, and, like, the guy never cheated ever again, and he really did mess up one time when he was younger. Like, I've seen that be a thing where the guy actually did learn his lesson and actually is getting it together and not ever going to cheat on a partner again. But when it's been something like this, where she said that he's done this in the past, where he had a girlfriend for a long time and cheated on her with new people consistently by going on dates with them, because, like you said, the girlfriend said he did the exact same thing in the past. I mean, I wouldn't have said yes to this man. I wouldn't have stayed with him. I wouldn't... No. I also find it pretty funny that, from the beginning, you literally said to him, like, oh, you look familiar. Like, you guys probably talked about your past relationships and things that you want in a relationship and stuff like that, like, as if it was nothing, like, as if you guys were really just getting to know each other, and just him leaving out this big detail, this whole entire detail of, like, oh, yeah, my past relationship, even though I'm still with her. Like, what the... I can't imagine that. It's a good thing that you saw that post on Valentine's Day, though, because imagine you two had ended up being in a relationship while he's in a relationship with someone of 3 years. And honestly, I feel like if it were the case where you guys did end up that way, I feel like that girl probably still would have stayed with him. Because, I mean, she's still staying with him anyways, and she's waiting for a ring, clearly. So, I don't know. I have no idea. It's just a good thing that, it didn't progress further and it didn't get more serious where you guys were at a point where you were saying, I love you and all that, because that would have hurt 10 times more. And it's just good that you caught it at the time when you did before it became official, because that really, it would have sucked. It still sucks, though. I mean, it's unfair what happened to you, and it's just simply not right. It's simply just not right. It also kind of sounds like to me like his problem is that he will never be satisfied with what he has, or he just doesn't really know how to be grateful. It could probably be like maybe some kind of learned behavior from young, because usually these types of people, they may either be used to getting everything they want from young, or they always want something new, or it could be that they get a thrill out of being greedy, because what it sounds like to me is that he's a really greedy and ungrateful kind of person. Just based on how you mentioned how the girl he's dating said he's done this in the past, and it sounds like he's a person who also has like ego issues, who's never fully satisfied. Because if he was, he wouldn't feel the need to consistently look for another person to give attention or affection to him while he's in a fully committed relationship. I feel like he wanted to maybe try something new with you to maybe fill some type of a void that he had, or, maybe he was afraid to let go of his long-term relationship because he probably liked the security of it. it just seems like he seeked out certain things in you for his own selfish needs, and that really does suck. It's pretty shitty. I feel like he also kind of used both of you to boost his ego and feed his craving for attention and affection. It could be some kind of inner child struggle, honestly. But he might not have gotten maybe the correct form of affection or attention. Not like, this is an excuse for it, because it's fucking not, but I'm just trying to, look at the deeper picture, like maybe that's why he is the way he is type of thing. But it's just awful, because now whatever happened when he was younger, or however he learned this type of behavior, it is affecting how he handles all of his relationships. And you know what, though? That's his own problem. That's his own problem that he needs to figure out all on his own. And it's no one else's problem to handle. And it's not your problem to handle, which is good. You stood your ground and moved on immediately, rather than the girl who ended up staying in the relationship. I would hope that at some point she gets a reality check and can know when to walk away, because she should have walked away a long time ago. But honestly, kudos to you, because you handled the situation with such grace, and you focused on being a girl's girl by reaching out to her directly and being honest and upfront with her. So that's really good for you. It's really hard, and it's really brave. It's also kind of wild to me, though, that she literally, it's almost like she was comforting you when you messaged her that her man was cheating on her with you. Like, she was like, oh, it's okay, this happened before, it's okay, it's not you, it's okay. That's crazy. How? That's so wild to me. It's like she was, I don't know, it's so weird. It's so strange. How are you going to comfort the side chick? Not that you're a side chick, but you get what I'm saying? Like, how are you going to do that and then stay with your cheating man? Ugh. I just hope that girl comes to her senses the way that you easily came to your senses. And I also am just glad that you found out the truth of him, way ahead of time, because it would have sucked even worse later. On a happier note, though, guys, I know this girl personally. We went to school together and all that. So I know her personally, and I follow her on social media. So just thought I'd like to let you guys know that she is actually in a very happy relationship now with someone else, and she's thriving. And this man seems to be very kind to her, very sweet. They seem very happy, and I can tell that they have a really healthy dynamic, which is really good. So, girl, I am happy for you. You're doing super well, and you deserve it all, honestly. And, good things come to those who wait and take their time and focus on themselves and keep doing them. And that's exactly what you did. And now you have a really nice, happy, healthy relationship that you earned, honestly. So kudos to you, Miss Girl. You really earned it for yourself. Now, we are going to get into the last story of the day. This last story is honestly crazy, because I had to read through it briefly. Of course, I have to approve these before I put them on. But oh my god, when I read this, I was literally like, ah! Woo! So, this story is called His Dad Was in the Same Room as Us During Sexy Time. One of my followers sent in this story, and I'm going to read it. So it says, so, I slept over my boyfriend's house last night, and he lives with his family, and it was just his dad home who was asleep. So around 1 a.m., we went into the shower together. As his penis is in my mouth, his dad randomly came into the bathroom to pee. He just heard the shower going and wasn't looking through the curtain or anything, assuming it was just my boyfriend in there, and starts a full conversation with him while pissing. We were just frozen in fear and laughter till he left. Ooh, oh my god, I would literally die. I don't even know how you kept it together. I'm pretty sure I would literally crawl into a hole and just die. Thank God he didn't catch you guys. Oh my god. This actually reminds me a lot of something that happened to me in high school Like, I had a boyfriend when I was 17 who I was, like, crazy in love with, but he ended up breaking my heart and cheating on me. But that's a story for another episode. But anyways, like, you know, when I was 17 or whatever, one day he was over and him and I were hanging out in the basement and we were, like, making out. And he got, like, a really huge boner. And now we have our, like, washer and dryers in the basement, you know, for laundry and stuff. So my mom, while him and I were, like, making out and I'm feeling his boner and all that, my mom started walking down the stairs during this. And we hear her, you know, we're hearing her footsteps, like, freaking the fuck out. And we, like, quickly dispersed and we acted all awkward when she came down. And he kept crossing his legs while talking to her. And then, like, later my mom asked me, like, what was that about? And so I was like, you know, I ended up telling her what happened. I was like, yeah, you know, he had a boner. And then it just became an ongoing joke. So now every single time I have someone over, she's always, like, joking, like, no hanky-panky, like, every single time. And it's like, ugh, just bringing me back to my cringy time. Like, why would we do this? But anyways, back to your story. Yeah, I would die if I was literally in the shower with my boyfriend while his dad is having a full conversation with me while my lips are next to his pee-pee. I would die. I think I would actually lose my shit. I'd probably faint in the moment. I think I really would. But it's so hard to find a good, decent place to hook up when you live with your parents. And then the crazy thing is, they really believe that you don't do stuff. Like, I don't know about you guys, but my parents believe that when you go on dates, that it's all innocent and that you just go on dates and that you don't act on your, you know, sexual emotions or anything. Like, they really think that that's what the younger generation does these days. I'm just like, be so for real. That does not happen. And the funny part about it is the majority of, like, our parents' generation, like, they got married young in their early 20s, or, like, even my parents, they got married at 18 and had their first kid at 18. So it's like, if you guys are just, you know, expecting that we don't do that, and I'm literally 24, and you guys were doing all that at 18 having a kid, like, I'm pretty sure it shouldn't be expected of us to be innocent. Like, we're definitely gonna act on our sexual emotions. So, like, why is it expected of us in this generation? It shouldn't be. I feel like it should be okay to let out some sexual energy. Just don't be, like, rude about it, you know? Like, okay, I don't know about you guys, but and it also could just be a girl thing, because I know for guys it's different. For guys, I feel like they can get away with closing the door and locking the door when they have a girl over. But for girls, for a lot of the girls I know, including myself, my parents would like me to keep the door halfway open if I have a guy over. Like, always. It cannot be closed or locked. Even if I'm in a relationship with them, it can't be any of those things. It's just what it is. But I personally feel like there shouldn't be that much of a problem with it. I feel like it's normal to, like, you know, get in a mood. I feel like it should be okay to close and lock the door. I really do. Because I feel like as long as you're not going to be loud about it or, like, you know, obvious about it, I feel like it really shouldn't matter that much. Because when you think about it, parents act weird about that stuff when the door is locked. But, like, what did parents do when we were kids, right? When they wanted their sexy time. What did parents do when we were kids? Okay, they did it when we were asleep, or when we were off at school, or probably when we were all home and maybe they'd lock the door and we wouldn't know. So it's like, come on now, let's make it fair. Let's make it fair. If I had to deal with you guys doing it, why can't I do it? But that's just how I feel. That's my personal opinion. That's my personal take on that. But anyways, that is the last story of the day. So we're gonna, you know, close out with our sound healings. So now we're just gonna clear up all the energy that we let out, all of the different emotions and everything. So sit back, lie down, relax, shut your eyes, take a deep breath in from your nose, breathe out from your mouth, and I'm gonna play. All right, guys, that's our episode for this week. I am so happy that you joined today. I hope you guys all have a great rest of your week, and I will see you guys all next time. Goodbye.